Welcome to westernslope.now.com. Meteorologist Russ Pappas here, taking a look. You know, one of the things I like to do at the 4 o'clock hour is looking eastbound across the Grand Valley, or the remainder of the Grand Valley. Some of those partly cloudy skies in the mountains. There's a little bit more cloud coverage to the north. There's a little bit more activity to the north, and that's been the case since early this morning, and that'll be the case through this afternoon. Basically, it's just some scattered showers and storms, mostly along the Colorado-Wyoming border. I'll get to that in just a moment. We're talking about 9 days away from the autumn equinox. And to be honest with you, the way the extended forecast looks, we could be significantly colder when fall begins. Now, it's just 9 days away. 8 days from now, we're going to have a cold front sweep through the area, a more significant cold front sweep through the area, and it's going to drop our temperatures probably 10 degrees below the average. And the average at that time in the future, September 22nd for Grand Junction, 79 degrees. So we're talking 69 degrees. And that's just the extended outlook. That's just an idea, a glimpse at what could happen if the forecast holds true. We'll get to that again in a moment. Here we are at the 4 o'clock hour. Temperatures kind of near the 90-degree mark for many locations. 87 is the high temperature on Sunday for Grand Junction, so we're still a little bit warmer. 83 is the average for Grand Junction. 80 is the average at Montrose. So these are just currents in the middle of the afternoon on Monday, getting things started. We have dry conditions. We have a light wind as well. We do not have alerts, warnings, or advisories. We will be looking at the potential for red flag warnings on Thursday and Friday. We're going to be breezy just about every afternoon, 15 to 20, but once we get towards the end of this week, basically what we're looking at is the differences between the high pressure system and the low pressure system creating the breezy conditions. But also we have these weak little fronts passing through to our north, not really impactful because we're going to be warm, we're going to be dry, but these will be wind generators. So we'll go breezy. But Thursday, Friday, with our dry conditions, low relative humidity, and the wind, we could be looking at some areas on the western slope popping with a red flag warning. And of course, getting into next weekend, I'll show you the extended forecast, what that holds for you. Real quick, let's take a look at radar. And with that, most of the activity further to the north, right there along the Wyoming border with Colorado. It's been that way throughout the morning hours. But, I mean, look, we're popping up a storm at this hour around Meeker. So partly cloudy skies with the sunshine making its way through is creating some lifting. And so some of those storms around Meeker, on the flat tops, on the east end of Rio Blanco County, Garfield County, and even into some of the higher elevations around Dow Junction in Eagle County, Minturn area. So just minimal storm coverage right now. Most of this is expected to end right around sunset tonight. None of it's really going to pop a severe thunderstorm warning, nor a flood watch, nor a flood warning. And look at this. We are significantly clearer than we were last week. So we're doing really well. And it's all a part of the system that's creating those scattered showers and thunderstorms. The big picture overall, you'll notice Colorado, Utah, portions of Nevada, Arizona, that's all part of a trough of low pressure. So that's an area of low pressure. We've had a cold front move through. In fact, it's going to move through overnight tonight, and it's going to help keep our temperatures out of the 90s. Approximately. We're going to keep things right where we are, upper 80s, low 90s as a result of the front and the overall big picture, the clearing skies, courtesy of that low pressure system that's really driving the wildfire smoke from California south and curving into Mexico and along into the Gulf. And speaking of the Gulf, we have what is right now just a tropical storm putting down some heavier rain showers. And as a bonus, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that at the end of this forecast. But for us, in the meantime, Monday night, we're going to start with partly cloudy skies. We'll go with minimal cloud coverage, no storm activity, but that cold front moving through and a series of cold fronts moving through. It's going to keep us breezy, but we will be dry. And you look at Tuesday afternoon, on the tail end of that cold front, most of the storm activity is in eastern Colorado and in portions of west Kansas, and that's 24 hours from now. And then we get into the middle of the week, we still maintain dry conditions. We still will maintain breezy conditions. Yet another front passing through to our north. So minimally impactful, but the series of these will keep us breezy. Once we get into the late week period, they become a little bit more intense, a little bit more impactful in the form of stronger winds. So again, red flag warning potential end of this week. Here we are looking at temperatures near the 90-degree mark for some. These are not records, but these are hotter than the average for this time of the year. Wind speeds, breezy at best, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Top wind gusts of the day, between 20 and 35 miles per hour. And this is what we should do through Thursday. Thursday, Friday, we'll bump it up a notch. Lows this morning, Grand Junction, about 10 degrees warmer than the average. We should be right around 54. Montrose, we should be right around 49. So warmer than average temperatures. We're going to do that again tomorrow morning as well. Slightly for some, increasingly for others. And then with tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday, temperatures, the patterns holds, warmer than the average, not setting records. And hopefully we can avoid the 90s courtesy of that front that passes through later tonight. Now look at the extended forecast with me. We are kind of hovering on that upper 80s, lower 90s. So that's the difference this week between warm and just hot. Breezy all afternoon. Thursday, Friday, we could see red flag warnings. We will be looking at the beginning of next week, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, days 8 and 9. We should have a more significant cold front move through, not just glancing by, but move through. That'll kick our winds up. That'll lower our temperatures. And that's right about the time, not quite, but we'll start autumn in the middle of next week, and that should coincide with that cold front. Boy, that would be really significant if we had our temperatures in the upper 60s. Same with Montrose. Average high temperature 80, 79. We're going to continue to fluctuate slightly warmer than that all the way through. Getting into the upcoming weekend, we could be looking at more impactful wind. Let's take a look at Tropical Storm Nicholas. Now, I'm only showing you this because my dad lives right where 3 p.m. Monday is, at the bottom of your screen. He's down in Port Aransas, just out of Corpus Christi. And I had him evacuate. He's in San Antonio right now. And right now, this is just a tropical storm. Right now, we're just in the peak of the hurricane season for this region. Hurricanes, not significantly impactful for us, but let's talk about it for a second because the season goes all the way through the end of November. Our monsoon season, our primary weather driver, ends at the end of September. The hurricane season ends at the end of November. Right now, we're just around the peak. The peak occurred on Friday, September 10th. So this is the only active named storm right now, Nicholas. In the next 48 hours, we could be looking at Odette and Peter, one of which will be in the Atlantic, the other of which could be in the southeastern Caribbean. But right now, this is not even a hurricane. This is a tropical storm, around 65 miles per hour at last check. And you can see 3 p.m. on Monday, there it is. So it's only going to bump up in the next 6 hours. It only has 6 more hours before it makes landfall. And in that 6 hours, if it can achieve 74 miles per hour, and it doesn't appear, but it looks close, midnight Tuesday morning, once it hits 74, then that's a Category 1, and that'll be a Category 1 landfall. Right now, this is a flood. This is a flash flood event for the low coastal communities. Galveston, Corpus Christi, the parishes of Louisiana, heavy rains occurring now, and that's going to continue. The storm will track inland around Houston midday Tuesday, and then thunderstorms and heavy rain all the way through Louisiana into central Mississippi, just around the northern edge of the Pine Belt. So getting out of the coastal regions of Mississippi and into the Pine Belt, which is black pines, but heavy rainers for them. So yeah, we're going to watch this. This is tracking north-northeast about 12 miles per hour, so there's not a lot to it, but if you live in these areas, there's a whole lot to it. So that's my take on Nicholas. It may not hit Category 1, but it only has 6 more hours, give or take, to get into that mode. So with that, my dad is safe. I'll give him the green light to go back home tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, that's it. And as far as this week goes, if I do pop up on Facebook Live, it'll be because of that red flag warning for us locally. Enjoy.